Hello and welcome back to Field Notes Podcast. I'm your host, Eden, and thank you so much for joining me for another episode today. This is a podcast all about the process of inner transformation, the process of becoming, the process of creativity, the process of transforming one thing into another within you and outside of you. In today's episode, we are going to be continuing our discussion of things about manifestation that I used to think that I no longer do, and what I think instead. The purpose of this series is to help broaden your landscape. If you feel like manifestation was working for you, but it's not anymore, or you've kind of like outgrown it, or something just is feeling limited, it's feeling restricted, it's feeling too two-dimensional about your framework for how you're thinking about bringing new life into your reality, this is for you. I used to feel that way too, and it took me really reinvestigating and unearthing a deeper way, a more broadened way of holding the creative process, the process of bringing something from non-material to a seed, to a small sprout, to a plant, and bringing it outward into my real life or into my real being. It took me uncovering a broader understanding of that process. And so I want to share that with you so that if you're moving through something similar, maybe these insights can help you to hold a bigger container for the things that you are creating in your life. From a grounded place, from a really embodied place, from a place that is really stable and firm and coming from a place of peace and wholeness. Okay, next on our list, we have, this is a manifestation thing that really tripped me up personally. I don't know if you can relate to this, but this one is the idea that like, if you choose the right path, you're not going to have resistance. This is such a hard pill to swallow, but every path that you choose, no matter how in alignment it is for you and your soul's path, there is going to be resistance and discomfort. I feel like I used to really take resistance or discomfort as this like red alert sign of you're not on the right path. Like, oh, is this really the right path? And I would have so much questioning about the path that I'm going down. Like, oh, should I go back to school or should I not? Or should I start my podcast again or should I not? And at the end of the day, it's like, yes, we need to be in the ballpark. You know, you got to be in the ballpark of, like, if I was going to med school, I mean, maybe one day, but like if I was going to med school, that would be a different story. But like, if you're weighing your options between like, do I write a book or do I write a Substack, or like, do I write a book or do I write a podcast? It's like, those things are using very similar skills. And ultimately, it doesn't matter at a certain point. And we have to ask ourselves the question, am I just questioning my path because I'm resisting getting down and dirty into the slow, dull trudge of the work that's ahead? Because the truth of the matter is that whatever path you take, okay, my goal is to like lose weight this year, or it's to get into really good shape, or whatever it is, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be discomfort with that. It's just going to be hard. Like, there's valleys, there's peaks, there's moments of no progress. There's moments where you don't want to write the book that day. There's moments where you don't want to visit the exam room of your patient that day. Like, that's going to happen on every single journey, you know? So this is just tricky because we have to figure out how to discern between, am I procrastinating my destiny because that's always going to be more comfortable to the part of me that is afraid, which is normal? Is this covering up the fear of failure? Like, what if I can't do it? Or what if I don't make it? Or what if I do make it? Like, there's so much unknown when we set out towards something. And so we have to ask ourselves, like, am I just questioning, oh, is this the right path? Like, is this because we're scared? When you realize that every path is going to be hard, it is so liberating. And it does not mean you're on the wrong path if you're hitting obstacles. You're going to hit obstacles on every path. You're going to hit setbacks on every path. So if you're like, I kind of was feeling like this was the right path, but I'm X amount of time in, or I'm hitting a really challenging period in this, and I'm not getting any like feedback on the book proposal or whatever it is, like that's okay. Don't let that be the thing that derails you. Of course, there's nuance. It's something I talk a lot about in the part 1 of this series. There's so much nuance to life. So again, you have to be discerning and you have to read the signals, but this is just your permission slip to feel comfortable with being uncomfortable as you are pursuing your creative work or your soul's purpose or whatever it might be. Discomfort is just a part of the path. Okay, next up we have, not every belief is a limiting belief. This has been something that has been percolating. This has been percolating because limiting beliefs. Yeah, okay. I have a lot of them. I have a lot of limiting beliefs, and I love how helpful that word is. But at times we have to recognize not every belief is holding you back because it's a limiting belief. Okay, let me explain what I mean. I feel like in the manifestation world, there's this idea that, okay, if I want to make $1 million and I have a belief that making money is sinful, all I need to do, it's nuance, okay, but all I need to do, or one thing I need to do, is to change that limiting belief. I need to release that limiting belief. Or it's like, I'm unlovable because of my hair color and I'm trying to manifest the love of my life. I need to change that belief. Now, yes, okay, perhaps, especially when it comes to wounds, right? Beliefs that are wounds that we carry about, I can't express my needs, or I can't be the person that I am, or the person that I am is not lovable, or whatever it might be. But when something isn't manifesting fast enough, or it's not being created quickly enough, or you're not seeing progress quickly enough, it's not always because a belief needs to be changed. Understanding if something is a limiting belief or a core value requires a process of self-inquiry, of self-exploration, and figuring out who you are. Let's say you're trying to manifest the love of your life, and you're like, it has to be this type of person. They have to have this value. Like, I have this value, they have to have this value. It could be that that is a limiting belief. Like, it could be that, okay, they have to be in this profession, or they have to make this amount of money, or they have to look like this, because that is a core value that I'm not willing to sacrifice. It's so fundamental to who I am, or whatever it might be. But it could also be a limiting belief. It could be that it's coming from more of that conscious ego fist clenching vibe, where you think it has to be a certain way, but it actually could be a different way. Part of the process of knowing yourself and getting clarity with your life and where you're going is uncovering whether something is really a core value, or it's a foundational thing, or it is not. And sometimes something that you might think is a limiting belief is actually just something you deeply value. The reason why I'm bringing up this specific angle is because I think that in the spiritual manifestation paradigm, it so often jumps to, it's a limiting belief. If you aren't making money fast enough, if you aren't manifesting love fast enough, if you aren't this fast enough, or whatever it is, it must be because you have some kind of block or limiting belief. And sometimes it's actually the way that you're going about doing it. It's not a match for your actual core beliefs. And that's why it's not working. So identifying the difference between limiting beliefs and like core beliefs, the reason why this is so important is because our core beliefs about the creative process, about the psyche, about the process of psychological change and inner transformation, and the process of manifesting, those core beliefs. And what I mean by that is like, when I think about my core beliefs, it's like God unconditionally loves me. Like that is a core belief of mine. Like there's a force outside of me that makes me whole as I am in this moment, that I don't have to earn that. That is like a core belief. So if I'm moving through my creative process or my manifestation process and I start unconsciously trying to earn love and earn worth and put my worth in material things, that is a way of moving and a way of manifesting that is not in alignment with my core beliefs. Does that make sense? Or like, if I believe that like life is about cultivating meaning and being of service to other people, but then my actions or like my attempts to manifest are not in alignment with that, that's going to be a huge discrepancy. And it's not that I just need to like change my belief, because that's a core belief. Does that make sense? So it's like, you need to uncover your core beliefs about what it means to move through this life, because that at the end of the day, that's like a box that you are in that you can't out manifest that box. No amount of manifesting or trying to change limiting beliefs is going to change your core values and core beliefs as a person. I think that the manifestation world, there's just this idea, it could just be me, but I just want to put this out there in case anyone else has struggled with it. But you can kind of get this idea of like, oh, well, if I just change my beliefs about this, then I can have what these other people have on social media. And it's like maybe your core beliefs are actually different than those people's on social media. And so you're not meant to move in that way or show up in that way, if that makes sense. Not everyone is here for the same thing. Like we're all here for different things. We want different things. And the differences in our core values and our core beliefs means our lives are going to look different. Okay, final thought before we close out this episode, this part 2, is that it is normal for there to be long periods of nothing happening when you are in a creative process, a manifestation process, or just life. Every big manifestation or creative output or creative act requires an equal time of tending, of invisibility, of digging into soil, of caring for a seed. If you think about birth, it is the perfect metaphor for this. You don't just have a baby in one day. It takes so much time to prepare your body to conceive, to grow that thing. And you don't know what's happening in there. You literally don't. And you also don't know exactly how long it's going to take. Like you have an idea, but you really don't know. And you also, you're blind to the process while it's happening. This is the creative process. This is a process of manifestation. There is going to be a time period when things are dark, when you don't see the light, when you don't know what's happening. This is the life, death, rebirth cycle of life. And I think that the manifestation spiritual paradigm can often give us this idea that manifestation is something we only do with our conscious mind, or that we do it in a vacuum. We don't. We are in a dynamic interplay of our conscious and our unconscious, of you, the individual, and the great outer mystery of this creation. And within that, implicitly, is the reality that there are going to be periods of unknown. There are going to be valleys. There's going to be tunnels. There's going to be moments when you lose the light. That is normal and inevitable on the process of creating anything. So not every season is a season for manifesting. Some seasons are a season for tending to the soil. Some seasons are a season for recovering, of licking wounds, of healing something, of turning inward. Some seasons are seasons of just gathering your resources and trying to organize a new reality that you found yourself in and to gain a sense of coherence within that. Sometimes it's a season of testing out different things and getting little creative buds that are needing to come to fruition, but they're not necessarily taking hold until that one does. These are all valid parts of the journey, and It's not supposed to be one way all the time. If you look to nature, this is so evident. Okay, thank you so much for listening to this episode. That is the end of this topic. If you're loving it, if you have thoughts, questions, please send me a message. You can leave a response in the question box link below. And if you are looking for one-on-one support on your journey, in your process, wherever you uniquely are, I would love to support you. I work with people one-on-one as a coach. And if there is something within you that is in need of tending, that is in need of witnessing, if there is something you are moving through that you would like to be held through and witnessed in, I would love to support you. You can learn more about one-on-one sessions in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you soon.